Yo, what's up, Snaps? What's going on, y'all? Welcome in. I guess I say, what's up, guys? This is a brand new episode of Snaps. I am TBob Bear. He is Aaron Murray, and this is a college football podcast. Aaron, what's up, man? I missed you. So we're, for the offseason, we're doing Tuesdays and Thursdays. So feels like a long time in between when we get to talk.
It is a long time. I mean, I got TBob missing me so much. He sent me anime last night.
Yeah, I was trying to text one of my buddies. So Lord of the Rings dropped that new anime, War of the Rohirrim, a few months back, and
completely lost.
Watch it. What? Yeah, no, I actually sent it to Aaron. I was trying to talk to somebody that was talking about it earlier today. So it sans any context. I just texted Aaron like, "Hey, War of the Rohirrim's getting better and better as it goes on." My problem is,
I wish it was anime porn. It wasn't though. It was just this Lord of the Rings.
Have you ever watched
it? Yeah.
Good. See, at least you're not too proud to admit it. A lot of people are too proud to admit it.
Why would you not at least try something? That's the whole point.
I agree. If you listen to Snaps, I think that's kind of our mantra here. But no, I'm enjoying it. I'm so tired. I can't stay awake for shit every day. I guess it's because I've been working out at like 5 a.m. every morning now. And so the 4:20 wake up, by the time the kids go to bed at 8,
just done.
We
even stayed up past 9:30. Not like getting into bed, like physically you've been up past 9:30 for 2 weeks now. Last week we went to bed at 8:20.
There you go.
8:20.
Life's kind of, life happening, I guess. Do I look a bit like a used car dealer today, or like a greasy jewelry dealer? I feel like I do.
You look good.
I wore like a colored shirt, which I don't normally do, but trying to dress a little nicer. This shirt's not very nice, though. And then I lost my hair stuff that I normally lose, and this new stuff that I bummed off my son has way more hold than normal. So it's got see how it's just it's like staying still. So I just have like a full slick back going.
Do you think car salesmen appreciate, laugh when people make that comment? Just we know what we are.
They make money, and yeah, they do know what they are, like the crypto guys do. Which, by the way, guys, you've heard me talk about CoffeeZilla on this show today, the YouTube, before the YouTube channel that investigates crypto scams. He has a sub channel, Voidzilla, and he has an hour-long sit down with the creator of Libra, the latest meme coin to completely scam people and fall apart. And if you ever need to understand how fucking stupid meme coins are, how dumb the game is against you, go listen to this interview.
It is
he is defending insider trading as being but this isn't traditional finance. It's the only people bitching about it are the people who aren't in on it, and acting like that's all well and good. And then he's talking about snipers. He's blaming snipers for why the coin cratered, people who, pump and dump from the outside. Right. But then he's like, so that's why we tried. And then he gets called out because one of the big snipers is connected back to his wallet. And he's like, well, yeah, I mean, I was trying to snipe it before the snipers could. It is so, and this is a guy who's in bed with the Argentinian president or something. It is so fucking dumb. And it is literally, I mean, I almost want to play some clips maybe I'll play some clips for you, Aaron, at the end of the show.
I thought you were about to say, this is why I really want to make a Snaps coin. I literally thought you were about to go down that route. I was like, let's go. Snaps 100%. Community. Where are we at? 28,000 strong? Come on.
Yeah, baby. Push to 30.
Shit out of a coin right
30, now. And we finally have enough of a stage to pump and dump.
How is Jailstool doing?
Coin maker. What?
The Barstool, Jailstool.
I have no idea. Yeah. I have no idea. I didn't know Barstool had a meme coin. Not for me. Look, my kids eat something that they don't like. I say you have to try it, and if you don't like it, you say not for me. I've tried it, and it's definitely not for me. So we actually have a lot to get to today. on the show, little run of show here. Congratulations to Aaron Murray, who actually engaged in some show prep and run a show today. We're very proud of him, guys. Let's fucking go, dude. Are we losing subs? Says, are we losing subs? Have we gone backwards, Aaron?
Who said that?
Quinn Kaufman? I don't think we're losing subs. I think we just completely stalled out there at the end of the season for whatever reason. Maybe it's our cursing waves. I mean,
yeah, we're at the same.
The show we started talking about hentai, which is not algorithmically friendly. You know, they don't like to push that stuff. I don't know exactly what it is, but keep you in the show because we love it. And we'll think of some ideas to how to maybe continue to grow it. One way in which you can help is to hit the like button, share with all your friends, et cetera, et cetera. We'll figure it out. TBob, what sub should I get for lunch? I think you should get a Jersey Mike's. In fact, after the show, I too was thinking about going to get a Jersey Mike's club sub on farm bread, which, by the way, I don't know. I used to go eat at Jersey Mike's after church a lot of times.
Mm-hmm.
We go to like this nice sit down place, or we go to Jersey Mike's or whatever. And growing up, also was like, okay, this is fine, this is good, but my God, it has been rocking. I've always been like a Jimmy John's first guy in terms of the fast sandwich industry. I think Jersey Mike's beats it, man. I mean, when you get that
Jersey Mike beats what?
Jimmy John's.
Jersey Mike's. Oh, okay. I've never had either.
I think Firehouse is not good. I don't like Firehouse at all. And we're not talking.
I'm still Quiznos. When I see a Quiznos, the
Quiznos, we got the One of the early Snaps memories playing the old Quiznos commercial.
I love when an airport has a Quiznos. That is the first spot I go. Oh,
some about that the Mike's Way, that oil and vinegar on there just really pops. Oh, look at that little Harry Potter mug for the boy. Tag still on it. Where'd we get it from?
No. This is tea. This is a tea bag.
Oh, okay. Beautiful mug, by the way, Aaron. Love it.
Thank you.
Oh man, if only I had my Hufflepuff mug in here. Alas, I do not. I've just specifically tell them to put half the oil and vinegar. So see, I would say that, but the bread has good bread integrity. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. You can make a sandwich a little sloppy, a burger, whatever have you, as long as the bread is strong. It's when the bread integrity starts to break down that a sandwich completely.
When I make my pub sub, I actually have them put the vinegar on the bread first.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's not going to drip out onto your shirt. That is true. You can get a little greasy drips if you ain't careful with subs for sure.
Put it directly on.
What tea are you drinking? Is that a nice Darjeeling?
It is a turmeric and ginger blend.
Okay, a little tummy hurt.
No, just anti-inflammatory. You know, all the running, all the marathon training. 12 miles.
I was going to say, how's the half marathon training going?
Did 12 miles on last Friday. About to run 4 miles today. I think we're running a half marathon in 2 weeks. So we're cooking, baby.
Something that I am not willing to show publicly anywhere else, but I'm going to be a little bit of a douche here, a little bit of a progressing, but I think I took a picture that almost looks like I have abs.
Oh.
Closest I have ever come to abs in my 36 years.
Show me what we're working with here.
This earth.
Woo!
I mean,
you look good, boy. What do you weigh, like 230?
Getting kind of close. Now I'm still like 265, bro. The weight don't go down. The weight never goes.
Big ass calves. That's the problem.
Big thighs. big thighs.
I can't wait till I post my sexy picture this week. Edits come back. We're ready to go.
Oh, yeah, dude. Oh, wait. I can't remember. Did you just show me that, or did we show the show that?
We have not shown the show yet.
When you get the official pictures, can we show the show?
Well, I'll be posting the official pictures on social.
Okay, great.
Everyone will see the pictures when they come this week.
So good. All right. Let's should we dive in?
Yeah.
Now that we've caught up again, it's great to see you again. All right. Let's start with a story that, if you're a loyal Snaps listener, we have been on this story for a long time now. Now, what we have here is a furthering of the story, and that is the continued expansion of the college football playoff. The current playoff contract's only through 2025. To affect any changes for next year, you would need, I think, like unanimous votes and everything. Like maybe they change the seeding, maybe they don't. In 2026, major changes are coming, guaranteed. I think there's meetings actually going down in New Orleans this week to determine some of that. And here's what I would say. Well, how do we want to do this? I think this is how I want to do it. Mm-hmm. Here's what we've talked about in the past, and this remains true. The playoff is going to expand to 14 or 16 teams.
Yep.
I think 14 is most likely, but 16 is still around the edges. The most important thing to note here is that would include 4 auto bids for the SEC, not auto seeds, 4 auto bids for the SEC, 4 for the Big 10, 2 for the ACC, 2 for the Big 12. None of that has changed. The new things that I've learned, I did not realize this. The Big 10 and the SEC, Aaron, have sole decision-making power on what shape this takes. Yeah, it's like,
are you surprised?
No, but I didn't know. But
who's else voice? Who else is willing to speak up?
I can hear
you. There is no one else in the room that is willing to speak or has the power or authority in the room to speak up against the SEC or Big 10. Let's be like,
well, so I agree.
If they did, no one would, because no one would take them seriously.
So what I'm saying is I agree with you. I guess the detail that I did not realize is that it's literally codified. It's written out.
Is this almost like U.S. and Russia meeting right now and telling, check that they can just wait for the solution?
The only U.S. international relations I care about right now are beating the fuck out of Canada come Thursday. Seriously. So I don't know exactly what's been going on the Russia front. I will say this:
Ukraine is essentially being left out of the conversation right now. So is this like the SEC and Big 10 coming out saying, Big 12, ACC, you guys go sit in the other room, play with your toys, twiddle your thumbs, and when the parents are done talking, you can come back in and we'll let you know what we decided. Kind of feels like that a little bit.
Yes. Well, actually, yes, it was literally, again, that was written into law. Like last year in the spring, there was a memorandum of understanding signed by all the conferences in which the SEC and the Big 10 have sole discretion on the future of the college football format, playoff format. But in the memorandum of understanding, they have to, quote, have meaningful consultation and collect input from the other conferences. So yes, quite literally, it is a situation where mom and dad get to decide, but we'll listen to you if
you tell me what you want to eat. But at the end of the day, if I don't, if it's on the fridge and we don't want it, then you're going to eat what the fuck we tell you to eat.
So that is a new element that I was not aware of, that Greg Sankey and Tony Bettini are
in writing.
Full control.
It's kind of wild that's in writing. I'm with you. I'm a little shocked it's actually out there.
Again, it shows you the power dynamics at play, like you said. The other thing I did not realize, Aaron, is under this new, remember the college football playoff, when it originally was made, was an even revenue split between everyone. I didn't realize that the SEC and the Big 10 have changed that to where they get the larger portion of the money and will get an even larger portion come 2026. So right now, the two conferences granted themselves each 29% of the revenue from the new 6-year deal. So they each get 29%. The ACC gets 17%. The Big 12 gets 15%. Apparently,
how do those
that comes out to about $21 million more for each SEC Big 10 school than the others.
And that's not just for this college football playoff. Let's add another $20-30 million to the TV rights deals. I mean, we're talking about these ACC and Big 12 teams right now at a $50 million deficit compared to the SEC and Big 10.
Which is kind of frustrating in some ways because it feels like, I mean, I get why you do this and I understand it, like why, of course,
they have to
want more money, and the SEC and the Big 10 would be like, well, why should we give you even money when it's not even? But it is going to potentially long-term have major ramifications. Like more than anything we'll talk about.
100% it does.
That revenue distribution will continue to widen the gap between the haves and the have-nots, and it's going to become increasingly impossible for those two schools or for those two other conferences to compete. And then who knows, maybe in 6 years, you do end up in a
they can't compete
because the other schools we can't keep up.
They can't compete now, and it's only going to get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. It is what it is. I mean, a buddy of mine was out west, and he was telling me he went to visit Oregon State for something different, and he had the opportunity to tour their facilities. Obviously, they're not even one of these four. One of the two teams that got screwed with the expansion, got left in the Pac-12. But he's like, I've been to Georgia's facility in Alabama and Texas and these other schools, even some of the ACC schools, which don't compare to the SEC unless it's like Clemson and Florida State. He said it felt like their facilities were stuck in the 80s. And I'm sure you could say the same thing about a lot of other spots across the country. And it's going to get worse and worse and worse and worse, which is why I continue to say this, that we are moving to an NFL model. It is the ACC, or is it the SEC, and it's the Big Ten.
I think that's lame as fuck. I hope that's not the case. But again, I mean,
but how do you survive? How is an ACC program?
I did not realize that. That's what I'm saying.
How do you survive? $50 million, $100 million every 2 years, you're down to those other programs.
I did not realize that revenue disparity. I thought it was still even money across the board. So yeah, that is
rights. You saw the TV right difference.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, I realized that, but I still thought, okay, college football playoff, it's all college football. We're in this together. It's still an even split. The SEC and the Big Ten are basically just saying, no, slowly but surely, we're going to siphon more and more, and we're going to just separate from y'all more and more.
And it's not a large amount of money, I believe, because it's equally given out. But every team that moved along to the playoffs, that conference would get, what was it, $10 million, $20 million? That's why like Notre Dame was raking in money because they didn't have to share any of it. Well, there's going to be more SEC teams in there. There's going to be more Big Ten teams in there. They're going to be the better teams, most likely. They'll move through the playoffs. So every playoff game is an even more money that goes to the SEC and to the Big Ten.
So those are two, I think, key new details that on this show we haven't talked about yet. I do want to talk, though, because some will hear expansion and they'll get upset and be like, why? There's already too many teams, et cetera, et cetera. And if you believe that then expansion, obviously, you're not going to love because you're going to think, well, now there's way too many teams. But there's a few key advantages in my mind to this 14-team setup. And the first is the easiest to understand. And it is that it takes the committee completely out of it. There is, except for seeding. They'll still have control of seeding. But in this, there would be, again, 4 SEC, 4 Big 10, 2 ACC, 2 Big 12, and then the remaining 2 spots would be Notre Dame and a group of 5 at large. You can't remember.
And I guess those 4 spots would be determined by their conference based on the rules of tiebreakers.
That's what I'm saying. Yes. It is just conference standings.
Yes.
There's no subjectivity. There's no game control. There's no, we think this team is better because what we've seen on film. No, it is just what are the conference standings, and if you're in a tie, what are the ties, right? So I love that. Let the football decide. Take subjectivity out of it. What else that does, Aaron? That incentivizes, along with making more money, tougher scheduling, especially out of conference, because you are no longer punished if you lose to a Clemson to start the season, because all that matters in terms of the playoff is what you do in your conference. Yep. So when Greg Burns bitching out here saying, well, we're not going to play a hard schedule then, well, it doesn't matter because what do you do in conference is all that matters. Yep. It would also, if you get the 4 auto bids, it potentially, I think, creates new revenue. I mean, 16 teams definitely does, but
I would think at some point one of the tiebreakers would be overall record. No,
I don't think so. I mean, last year in the SEC, that wouldn't have mattered with all those 5 and 3 SEC teams. I don't believe.
Yeah,
I believe they were all in conference tiebreakers, which again I think is the way it should be and makes sense because the tournament is about emerging from your conference to play in a larger tournament. The SEC is saying that they would move to, there would be a lot more willingness to move to 9 games in conference at this point, which
10
also becomes, that becomes very exciting because the SEC and the Big Ten are saying if the SEC moves to 9 conference games, that they will then continue to explore or go ahead and commit to a scheduling alliance. You know how in basketball you have the SEC ACC challenge?
Yep.
They would essentially do the same thing, but for the SEC
awesome.
and the Big Ten, which would create, again, a ton of new money for them to sell that would exist outside of the current TV contracts.
And my biggest thing too, from the very beginning when all this happened, was what are we getting for us as the fans? Like what do we get? Because we talk so much about what do the university get, what do the players get, what do the athletic departments get? And it's money. They get all this money, and the SEC gets all the money, the Big Ten gets all the money. But guess what you get as a consumer? You have the opportunity to get a 9th SEC game. You have an opportunity to then get a 10th game between an SEC and Big Ten team.
Yeah.
You're talking about 10 weeks out of the college football season where you're going to get premier matchups. 10 weeks. I mean, in years past, you felt like we were lucky to get like a good weekend of like ranked on ranked football. If we move to this, you'll be getting multiple ranked on ranked games every single week. Your TV will be flooded with great entertainment. I think to me, that's the most important thing, especially as a consumer. So
Optimus Climb does raise a very good point, though. He says the fact that Rutgers, Minnesota, Purdue, Vandy, Mississippi State are going to be paid exponentially more than FSU, Miami, Clemson is so fucking backwards.
That's why we need to go. That's why we need that. That's why we need relegation.
I don't disagree. Again, but that's all more long-term sort of stuff that we'll only see develop over time. Okay, a couple more things to note here. I'll share my screen, my notes real quick, because if you look right here, basically the argument that the SEC and the Big Ten are saying is this is on average, comes from Ross Dellinger's Twitter. This is on average how many teams would have made it in in the current like selection committee era, and basically the 4-4-2-2 split is the average of how many teams would have made it on any given year if you were to have a 14-team playoff. So the number is not completely random. It is based in data. Like when you were saying, well, why even give?
TBob. I would say this though, if we look at which one is to me the better of the two, 14 or 16 team playoff, I would lean towards the 14 team. I like the incentive of the top 2 teams getting a bye.
Yeah, so the problem with the 16 team is there would be no bye. I agree with you. I like the top 2 teams getting a bye. That holds on to a little bit of value in the conference championship if you want to keep playing them, where the winner would get a bye. And here's one of my favorite sub ideas for the 14 team, though.
Get rid of the conference championship weekend.
Well, no, check this out. Make everybody else play as well.
Oh, I do like that.
Make 3 and 6 play for the third bid, and 3 and 6 play for whatever bid, and then 4 and 5 play for the fourth bid. The higher seed would get the bid. Do you get what I'm saying, though?
Yeah.
The top 2 teams play. Winner gets a bye. Loser still in.
Each conference would have 2 games that weekend.
Then you have 3 and 6 play, and the winner of that gets in. And you have 4 or 5 play. The winner of that gets in. Creates a crazy path to a championship, but it does add even more excitement to championship week. And in the in the Big 12 and the ACC, I guess. Well, I don't know exactly how you would do it there, but I do love that idea. That could be very exciting late in the year to watch teams try to fight there.
And I don't think once again, 3 weeks is very different than 2 weeks. 3 weeks is a long time to have off. Going back to what I think I brought up a couple weeks ago, can we find a different way? And I know I'm as American can get here. Army, Navy, end of the season, having their own weekend. Can we put that at the beginning of the season or some other time where we're not having to have that weekend off, then another weekend, and then the teams that get the bye are off for 3 weeks? Like that's a 1 week bye is fine, or 1 week off, 2 weeks off, whatever it is. But 3 weeks is just a long time to not play. Way too long.
I mean,
it should be conference championship weekend. We're done. We have our teams on essentially Saturday night. Sunday morning we can rank them, and then next weekend playoff starts.
So again, I don't know if I'm in the minority. I really like the 14 team pitch with the 3-6, 4-5 matchups to decide the last 2 spots. I think it maintains championship weekend. I think it incentivizes better scheduling. Like we said, 9th SEC game, which I really want. SEC Big 10 teams doing battle, which I really want. And it, at least for 6 years, even if it's becoming increasingly unfair, it at least keeps the ACC and the Big 12 in it, where their best teams will still have chances and get in there. So, but that's the latest. That is,
and I don't think to me, I don't think you would go from 14 and then 2 years like, oh, let's add 2 more. I think if you're going to add more, you'd add significant more. I think this is to me, we tried the 12 team. We've seen it. We've seen the problems. This is how we fix it. And to keep the obviously the ability to get a bye, because you won't get that for 16 teams. I don't think it's like this is a test it out for 2 years and then jump to 16. I think this would be a test it out for a few years. And if anything, it'd be add to 20 or whatever it may be.
Yeah, I think, God, I don't know, man. I can't. Yeah, but I guess we live in a world where the NCAA basketball tournament's talking about expanding even more, which seems ludicrous to me. I can't imagine they would want to go over 16 teams. But whatever they lock in for 26, I think will be around for at least 6 years.
Yeah.
So will it be 14 or 16? We will see. All right. Next on the list, Aaron, 247 had a really fun article. I'm talking about not coaches on the hot seat, but coaches with the most to prove in 2025. And I want to go through the names that they named. And it's going to be interesting because at least the guy off the rip, you probably haven't thought about him in a minute, which is funny. And then I want to go through if we think that they missed anybody. 247 kicks off the article. And again, these are not coaches on the hot seat. These are most to prove in 2025. And they kick it off with Luke Fickell.
Ooh.
There's a name I have not heard in a long time. Like, I'd completely forgotten about Luke Fickell. I mean, we talked about him almost weekly when he was at Cincinnati.
Oh, yeah.
He brought Cincinnati to the playoff. He created an incredible team there. He goes to a powerhouse in Wisconsin, or at least a team that for the last quarter of a century has been very powerful, and he has completely disappeared. I mean, who thinks about it? I didn't know this. So Wisconsin goes 5-7 last year, and that was their first losing season in 23 years.
They lost their last 5 games of the season. I mean, Penn State lost, Iowa lost, Oregon lost, Nebraska lost, and then Minnesota lost. I think the worst thing that happened to Wisconsin was they were playing in this nice little sandbox of, we're not Michigan, we're not Ohio State, maybe we're kind of with Penn State, maybe we can jump up every now and then. But as soon as the expanded conferences happened, you fell a tier back. So no longer are you kind of flirting with possible tier 2. Now you're like tier 3, kind of flirting with tier 4 all of a sudden.
Well, you got out of the easy side of the division, right? Weren't they in the side of the division that didn't have Ohio State, Penn State, and Michigan in it? I could be wrong here, but
no, they were because even go back to 2023, they played Ohio State, but they did not play Penn State or Michigan.
Yeah.
Where this past year you had to play, obviously you had to play Alabama, but then you played Penn State, you played Oregon, you played Iowa as well. USC, who at the time was not bad. They were 13th in the country, lost to them.
I mean, what to me is the main thing they lost, Aaron? They lost their identity.
That was the dumbest thing ever. Going from who you were to then trying to go air raid, and now the entire team identity has completely been lost. And
now, what's his name? Why am I blanking? Not Jeff Levy. Phil Longo. Now Phil Longo's gone, and Jeff Grimes is in. Now, Jeff Grimes, very good offensive coordinator, one who knows the run game intimately, his roots are as an O-line coach. That feels much more like the correct offensive coordinator for Wisconsin. I just wonder, have they been recruiting to air raid? Can you reverse it? Like, it was just such a misstep by Luke Fickell, and I don't know how easy it is to get back. Here's what Barry Alvarez told the local ESPN station up there, saying, quote, nobody likes, we went a long time. We worked our fannies off to start winning, win championships and be good, go to bowl games every year, and damn it, we did it better than everyone for 20-some years after not going for like a million years. Now, these guys have to fight their ass off to get back in that groove, and I hope they understand that. They've got a responsibility. I don't like where we are at right now. They need to bounce back and put this program back where it belongs. So the AD at Wisconsin, Barry Alvarez, really applying some public pressure there to Luke Fickell, saying this shit ain't good enough. We paid you too much money for you to run the program into the ground.
I love Luke Fickell, though. I got faith. I think they'll turn it around this year. There'll be a bowl team at least, hopefully.
A lot to prove.
Maybe.
Second on the 247 lot to prove list, Hugh Freeze.
Yeah.
And, of course, back-to-back losing seasons. He's getting a ton. He can't bitch about NIL investment. Auburn has damn near more NIL investment than anybody in the country. And last year, you lose 4 home games, including 3 as a favorite. They got to take a step forward this year.
Then the way you ended the year before, too, losing to New Mexico State.
Well, and you had Alabama. I mean,
you had Georgia, too. And you had Georgia, too.
Well, you had Bama, though. Like, you were competitive against Georgia. You got grave-diggered against Bama.
Yeah.
Otherwise, who knows how they would feel about him.
Obviously, they don't feel bad enough to continue to throw dollars at the program, so I think they still see that, hey, Hugh Freeze, year 3, fingers crossed we got the quarterback that we need in Jackson Arnold, and he can kind of work his magic with him. We got the receivers heading into their second season, the 2 5-stars they got a year ago. We had the investment. Alabama's down right now, so maybe we can knock them out after we see what they look like year 1 without Nick Saban. So, but 100%, like, there's been too much money invested into that program and too many good players too. Like, we talk about the recruiting rankings, and we talked about the whatever it's called with the star breakdown. What am I drawing a blank right now?
Blue chip ratio.
Blue chip ratio. I mean, they were one of the top 15 teams, top 20 teams with blue chip ratio a year ago.
True.
So and you can say all you want that, like, oh, I need to recruit it. You had a top 20 quote unquote star roster, and you couldn't make it to the bowl.
That is so important to note, because that is the real value of blue chip ratio. Is not being married to like that the blue chips are all that matter, blah blah. All blue chip ratio for me personally is a tool on judging the coach.
Yeah.
Do I feel like they elevated, or do I feel like they fell short and underachieved? And how did their peers do that were on that list, right? And then we judge them based off of that. And Auburn, I mean, I'm sure if we were to bring it up, they would be massive outliers of bad. Them in Oklahoma, really, in terms of blue chip ratio compared to results. So yes, that should fall firmly at the feet of Hugh Freeze. He's got a ton to prove. Next on this list. Oh, but wait, real quick on Auburn. Do you think Jackson Arnold, Eric Singleton, all those other guys they brought in, do you think they get it this year?
I do, because I saw enough good from Jackson Arnold a year ago, early in the season, to say like he's a 5-star. He's got the talent. He's got the athleticism. It was a just horrific situation that he was put in. No receivers. The entire receiving core was out, and you had a brand new offensive line that was god awful. There's nothing much you can do. He's at least going to a spot with what I would perceive as a better offense, better weapons
too.
Incredible weapons. I mean, especially with Singleton too. I mean, maybe one of the best receiving core in the SEC possibly next year.
Yeah. So now you have Cam Coleman. You have not Smith and Jigba. It's a double name like that. What's his name? I'll pull him up. But yeah, you add an All-American and Eric Singleton to that list. It's actually crazy.
It is a star-studded.
Keandre Lambert Smith. Oh no, he's a senior.
No. He's young. Cam Coleman, Malcolm Simmons.
Yeah.
But then you also have, I believe, Fairweather's back too at tight end.
Is this senior from last year? So I'm not sure.
Yeah, maybe not.
Anyway, Hugh Freeze, ton to prove.
Yep.
Next on the list, Mike Gundy. And of course, dude, Gundy, I don't know. I mean, last year's Oklahoma State season, Aaron, has to be one of the most confusing in NCAA history. You were Big 12 runner-up. You brought everybody back. It was not a particularly there was no giant in the Big 12 room, right? Like, it was a very competitive conference, but nobody was just far and above better. And you didn't do like just okay. You didn't disappoint. You didn't underachieve. You fucking imploded. You were like the college football version of the Titan submersible. You fucking got atomized by the entire weight of the Atlantic Ocean. You went 3-9. You finished 0-9 in the Big 12 on a 9-game losing streak.
And honestly, they should have lost that damn game.
Gordon.
They should have lost that game to damn Arkansas too. Thinking about that one, how Arkansas was just kicking their ass. And I still don't know how, because I had Arkansas the week after that. So obviously, I dived down into that tape. I'm like, sitting down with Sam Pittman, I was like, how did you lose that football game? You guys destroyed them. And somehow they, end up obviously find a way to win in double overtime. But I mean, you're talking about an Oklahoma State team that, should have been 2-10 with their only wins against South Dakota State and Tulsa.
Damn. 0-9. 0-9 in the Big 12. When you have Alan Bowman back, you have Ollie Gord back. Like, what went so wrong? Now, there is the weird Mike Gundy. He's got a bit of the what I used to call the Gus Malzahn rule, where when they have preseason hype, they always fail. But when you don't think they're any good, they're way better. So that Mike Gundy's career a lot of times has kind of gone along those lines as well. But this is an implosion, again, unlike any I've ever seen. And if they're bad again next year, then that actually might be it. Like might be it for Mike Gundy. Not until I don't know about the contract. I don't know about being fired. I'm not saying I know the intimate details. I'm talking about do I ever think he'll be a good coach again?
Agreed. You have to still think though the Oklahoma State brand in that conference is still one of the biggest ones.
I agree, but what is the brand without Gundy, for that matter? He's been there our entire lives. Been the reason why they kind of seem the most relevant, but he's got a ton to prove.
Oh, yes.
Of course, they say Brent Venables. Duh. We've been banging this for years on snaps. Venables staring down 3 of 4 losing seasons at a place that never suffers those. The one thing about Venables is that, again, blue chip ratio, him and Hugh Freeze, the most disappointing, but he continues to recruit well. He continues to do well in the portal, though they did suffer some attrition here. And they got the biggest quarterback this offseason, or one up. They got John Mateer from Wazoo, who is one of the most exciting players in the country.
But once again, it was not a quarterback issue a year ago. This is a surrounding the quarterback issue.
Yeah.
This is a offensive line issue. This is a receiving issue. You lost your best receiver to LSU. Like, there's way more than just one position that has to get fixed on that side of the football.
Texas Rocks calls them burnt vegetables. That is so stupid and so wonderful. I don't know how I never arrived at burnt vegetables. Okay, so you said you think Hugh Freeze does have a get back year. We don't think Luke Fickell does, right? Or do you?
I don't. I don't know if I'm saying like it's good or bad enough to where he gets fired like bad, but I don't think it's like all of a sudden Wisconsin turns out to be like a dark horse in the playoff race all of a sudden.
I don't think Mike Gundy and Oklahoma State contend for Big 12 championship.
Look at Wisconsin's schedule next year. They got to go to Alabama. They have to go to Michigan, Iowa, Ohio State, Oregon, Washington, Indiana, Illinois, Minnesota. I can already chalk up 4 losses right there. Alabama, Michigan, Ohio State, and Oregon. So now you have to, survive 2 more of the other ones that you could possibly lose just to go 6-6.
Do you think that? Do you think that Venables in Oklahoma bounce back next year? Because it doesn't feel like there's enough oxygen in the room to me in the SEC right now.
There isn't. I would not bet on. I would bet more on Hugh than I would him on Venables. I would bet way more on
also
Hugh
because we've seen Hugh do it as a head coach. That is the thing about Brent Venables we cannot lose sight of. We have never seen him do it as a head coach.
And let's not forget, once again, like the schedules flip this year. So thinking of schedules, Oklahoma has to face Michigan, Auburn, Texas, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri, LSU.
That's going to be fun watching LSU go to Norman.
Yeah. Next, everyone. You go through everyone's schedule. Everyone's schedule sucks, but I don't know. I still think.
But
I would put my money on Hugh.
Suck more than others.
Hugh. Yeah.
The next on this list, Mike Norvell. Duh. I told you at the time when Florida State suffered not being picked for the championship that was a wound so grievous that it could become infected and ruin the entire program from the inside out. And unfortunately, last year's 2-10 record would speak to that. Now he still has a good overall.
He was building it though. I mean,
yes,
you have
I know.
the stat. It's crazy. Like you go to your Memphis last year, 12-2, Florida State 3-6, 5-7, then 10-3, then 13-1. It's just like, oh my God, this is moving in the right direction. And then you just decided to get DJU and all hell broke loose.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. Just bottom completely fell off. Climb.
Oh.
Now, if you want to look in the past, see, there's something you can't do with Venables. If you want to look at the past for hope for the future, you had the step back at Memphis where you went from 10-3 to 8-6. And then next year you bounce back and you go 12-2.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Why is he so bad at bowl games though? 1-5 in bowl games for his career. So here, I don't know if I'm betting on Norvell, man. I'm gonna stick by what I've been saying now for a long time, is that what they went through, it kind of reminds me of the 2011 year at LSU, where Miles and LSU was never the same after the Alabama National Championship rematch, and it ended up really sinking the program and ending Miles' tenure. I don't think Norvell and Florida State's going to bounce back.
It's funny though. It feels like that state has completely flipped, where it felt like Florida State was about to run away with it, and then now all of a sudden Florida's got some momentum. I can see that he's not on this list, and obviously Miami's got a lot of momentum as well too right now. And it's kind of seemed like Florida State was like this, and the other two were going like this. And all of a sudden, just like, complete reverse for all three programs, somewhat, especially Miami, where I think Miami's in a healthy spot. I honestly think Florida's in a healthy spot, and I do worry about the pulse of Florida State at the moment.
Well, and it's like, so he has to get better at a time when, think about the ACC, for all the talk of shitting on it, it's on the rise. Miami's back. UNC's got Belichick. Duke is all in. They just paid $3 million.
Syracuse, it looks like they're kicking butt.
SMU has all the money in the world. Syracuse is fucking good now. Clemson looks like their national championship good now.
Yep.
Georgia Tech's on the rise.
Yep.
Louisville's solid every year. Like, it's a tougher conference than you're going to give it credit for. And FSU is trying to recover from implosion. It's not good. I'm not betting on Mike Norvell, unfortunately.
No.
And then the number one guy on this list for 247 is Brian Kelly. And again, it's not that he hasn't had a disaster like a lot of the coaches that we just discussed, but he has.
The problem with Kelly, the narrative was so strong. Like the narrative from us, including myself, was that LSU is getting one of the top 5 coaches in college football. Yes. That's the problem. You set the bar so high that unless he won a championship, it was going to be considered a failure. That's why you always set the bar low and then you exceed it. It was the reverse. You set this up for, we are getting the guy that took Notre Dame to the national championship, and all he needs is just a better roster, and he is poised to win a national championship, and obviously has not done that and has not made the playoffs. So yes, perceive that why is a top 5 head coach with all the talent that's on the roster, all that talent that's now in the NFL that's kicking ass, why has he not made the playoffs?
Yeah,
it's a problem.
I mean, and again, year 1 was good, but years 2 and 3 fell short of expectation. Everything's a function of expectation.
Yep.
Also, in a weird way, the Jaden Daniel Heisman has actually become a point of criticism. Because even though it was an incredible year, which you had the number 1 offense, after watching Brian Thomas, Malik Neighbors, and Jaden Daniels all be finalists for Rookie of the Years, it basically has everybody saying, well, what the fuck were you doing to lose 3 games in college with him? You haven't won a season opener. You've lost 3 in a row there under Kelly. You've lost 5 in a row overall. And now you got your toughest opener yet with Clemson, who appears to be national championship good again. It's
where's that game?
Rough. And the thing is, it's like you said, Aaron, when he took this job, he was viewed as a consensus top 5 coach. I don't even think people view Brian Kelly as a top 10 coach now.
No. I would say top 10's pushing a little bit for that. I would still put Brian Kelly somewhere inside that top 10. Maybe towards the bottom of the top 10, but I'm not going to push him out of the top 10. His resume is too good for and once again, it's not been a disaster by any means. It hasn't hit expectations, but it has not been a full-blown disaster.
No, I agree. But again, this isn't like hot seat stuff. This is most approved. In the last 3 coaches at LSU had 1 national championship.
Well, you're going to tell me there's 10 better head coaches in college football than BK right now?
I don't know. I kind of wrote that line without thinking about it too hard, to be honest.
I would say.
No. I think there.
I wouldn't put him in my top 5. Like I had him 2 years ago.
We had him as
3 or 4,
top 5 with a banger, like or with a bullet, like no question.
Yes,
but I think a lot of people would say there's 10 better. But even to your point, if it's not 10 better, it's at the bottom of the 10.
It's definitely
which is he's moving in the wrong direction,
maybe
which
10.
puts him on the most approved list. Doge, any other coaches to mention on the way out here?
I mean Napier. I think Napier. I mean,
you're right. Because he's kind of skating by a little bit off of a bit of a hot run, where it's like, can he make that into something more consistent? I'm gonna say Dan Lanning's about to start getting this. Lanning's been the darling Dan. Everybody loves him. He's young, he's sexy. They're on the rise, but now he has firmly entered. Okay, what's next? Like, okay, now take a step forward, which sucks because the bar is so high already. But like, everybody knows they have all the money in the world. They won the Big Ten last year, 13-0. Like Dan Lanning's about to start catching some of this if they have an ending similar to this.
What about Elko? I mean, you're talking about the same thing. I mean,
True.
A&M had the same damn season they've always had, 8-4. It's the same damn season.
With like a lot of early season hype fizzling out at the end.
When you beat, or you lost Notre Dame, but you know, all the hype heading into that game and all the wins versus LSU that was ranked, Missouri that was ranked, and then you get smoked by South Carolina, and then the wheels just fell off from there, and you know, you're 8-4 again. I mean, I can name a bunch of coaches that I feel like have a lot to prove. I do think Elko and A&M just in general has a lot to prove because they've always been big talk and they've always had the money and they've always had the talent. They've had the players, but they're just kind of stuck in this 8-4 range. And they just
another blue chip ratio complete failure. Texas A&M.
This one you'll love, but I think Stoops is kind of at the end. Well, I think this could be the end.
Approved. Yeah, that's not most.
Well, I mean, I know hot. I guess that's more hot seat.
That's more hot seat, like this guy.
What about Franklin then? Because of what he has coming back.
I guess if I said Lanning, I'd have to say Franklin because Franklin's like Lanning, only more so, like way further down that path, like at the end of that path. Getting Jim Knowles was a big win for them.
Yeah.
Lincoln Riley, chat saying absolutely.
Matt Rule. Matt Rule didn't have the second season that we wanted him to have.
True. We need to see that Rule bump, you know. And that's another guy where you have investment. You have a ton of investment. Yeah. It's time to make the investors happy. You have to start creating some return on said investment.
7-6 last year. 7-6.
There's a ton of coaches you can put on this list. Good article by 247, though, for sure. Aaron, you had on your run of show Arch Manning being the Heisman favorite. How do we feel about that? It has Arch plus 800, Nuss plus 800, Klubnik plus 12, Jeremiah Smith plus 12.
I like Klubnik at plus 1,200. I'm not gonna lie. I think Nico is actually 5th on this list. I think he was plus 1,300. There at Tennessee. I hate it. 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 I will keep going back to my thought early on during last season. If Arch was so damn good, he would have played last year because Quinn was far below expectations. We all knew Quinn at times was the reason Texas was being held back. If Arch was this potential number 1 pick in the NFL draft, Heisman favorite before ever really playing significant time, he would have taken over. I am worried that Stark knows what I'm thinking that I'm somewhat believing right now, that he's not as good as we think he's going to be. Why would he have not played last year? We all saw the issues with viewers.
Disaster, though. Quinn wasn't a disaster, and he was
a disaster in some big-time games. He was a disaster in some big-time games.
I mean, look, they made some big-time plays in the Arizona game. I agree. Look, I agree. This is funny. Like, do I just like to argue? Well, yes. But now, like, I feel like we've crossed paths. Because you used to talk about, well, they should play Arch last year. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
I'm saying because Quinn was looking like he was the weak link. So yes, put him in there. If we think he's good enough, then put him in. But
so I would say
he had almost 0 snaps down the end of the season. 0 snaps. Watch SEC championship.
Well, you don't rotate quarterbacks though, bro. You don't rotate quarterbacks. What the fuck are you talking about?
There are situations where if you want to use his legs, you bring him in there. Plenty of teams.
Look at the Arizona State game.
Not much. Not much.
I would say this though. I think the reason why the Arch hype is there is when Quinn did go down and he started, he looked really good for being his first few starts.
Who they play?
And you give him another offseason. It doesn't matter who they play.
I'm not saying just make sure you hear me right. I'm not saying Arch Manning's a bad quarterback. I think Arch Manning is going to be a good quarterback. He's with one of the best offensive minds in college football. He's going to be on a roster that is incredibly talented. He is athletic. He has a lot of great tools. But to sit here and say that he should be the Heisman favorite is idiotic.
Okay, that's fair. Scott wants to know, ask QB1, is Nuss better than Manning?
I would take Nuss heading into next season over Manning, yes.
Again, it makes sense. I mean, in terms of experience and whatnot.
I mean, even look at like yours over the past 2 years. It's not like Texas quarterbacks have put up crazy numbers. At least I can say like LSU quarterbacks have put up numbers. And Nuss last year put up numbers. So like, if you want to ask me right now, like which quarterback statistically is going to have the better season, I will say LSU's quarterback will probably have the better season.
Yeah, I mean, just from style of offense, it's funny. I think LSU actually needs to dial the numbers back a little bit.
True.
Get some of the ground game going again, and they'll be a better team overall. Look at Cade Klubnik just sitting there at plus 1,200. Your boy, dude. And then Jeremiah Smith, of course, what a freak! The wide receiver breaking into what should be the quarterback invitational.
I like it.
Wait, so Paul Feinbaum said what that he thinks that Georgia lost their best quarterback in Carson Beck?
Essentially, yes. The gist is that Miami and the brand and what's being built, and then you add Carson to it, is going to continue to be a contender in his mind. And that, yes, Georgia lost their best quarterback, which of course is true. As of right now.
I do think that's true. I don't think I'm still got major questions about whether Miami is going to be good or not next year. But I do think that's true that they lost it. Coming off of injury, maybe not. I don't know.
Yeah.
But like,
and I'm not saying that like Gunnar or Puglisi don't have the potential to be good. You know, I mean, because we've not seen Puglisi play. He was injured all spring. You know, we've seen some highlights on Instagram the other day of him flinging it around. The dude's got a rocket of an arm. He's a great size. Actually with him the other day, really good kid. But we haven't seen him play football. I don't know. We know Carson is a very talented quarterback that for a good portion of last year saved Georgia. Yeah, he had some really bad games, but he also saved Georgia in some pretty bad situations too, where that season could have been worse. So, And then the same situation that we just talked about with Texas, if Carson was so bad, why didn't you put the other guys in anyways?
That's the sole reason why I chose Notre Dame to win that game is because they were playing a backup quarterback that's never played before. And he did well. He did well, admittedly, within that context.
He did. He played well.
If Miami is really good, instead of Miami is back, we're going to make sure Miami is back. And it's going to be just his face with Cavender in front of him and like a little Instagram reel. It's going to be great.
The TikToks we're going to see next season between those two.
Oh, fucking great value, Paul and Livy. All right, let's get to a couple super chats we got. Shout out to our guy, Captain Spartan. It says, Captain Spartan for $10 says, if we move to the NFL model personally, I want to see Clemson, Duke, North Carolina, and Virginia in the SEC. Florida State, Miami in the Big 10. Louisville, Pitt, Virginia Tech, NC State, Georgia Tech. Wait, where'd it go? Sorry. Louisville, Pitt, Virginia Tech, NC State, Georgia Tech, SMU, Memphis, and USF in the Big 12. I'm confused. So I think in the NFL model, Aaron was saying that you would go to two conferences. Like the Big 12 wouldn't exist anymore.
Yeah, I don't get this. Maybe he's saying like there's.
I think he's just saying that these are where he would want these teams to be split up. Like take SMU out the ACC, put them in the Big 12.
So I think he's turning it from 4 conferences to 3.
To 3, really, essentially, yes. I mean, look, if you ever did get down to 2 conferences, which again I really hope doesn't happen, I think you want to put your thumb in the scale for Clemson, Florida
I think
State.
the SEC would rather get Florida State and Miami. I mean, I'm sure the Big Ten would like to get the school in the state of Florida, but
well, that's the thing. The SEC always says they don't care about Florida though, because they already have Florida, right? It's all like TV contracts and whatnot. And then Captain Spartan says, "Fun question." No $10. Thank you, Cap. He says, "Y'all both get a town built around you. What are 5 restaurants you want in your town? Be specific too, like El Nopal. Don't just say Mexican restaurant." Okay.
Fresh Kitchen, 1. Fresh Kitchen, 1.
What do you want? Fucking salad shop?
No. It's not salad.
Okay, I'm gonna go Cava. I love fucking Cava. Remember you ate
Cava
when you were here? That's a good chain, healthy Greek Mediterranean option. I would definitely have Cava in there. And we got to go chains.
Last resort. Right? Oh, is it chains?
Well, I mean, because like I could name like, oh, I want
it's your fucking town.
My favorite Chinese place here is Chinese in Nicholson, but that's not going to mean anything to anybody if you don't live in Baton Rouge. So I think you have to go chains.
I'm gonna get one that's unique. I'm gonna get one. You get one. I'm gonna get Last Resort as my unique one.
What is Last Resort? Tell us about it then. I have no context.
American cuisine. Just it's the best restaurant in Athens. The dessert
so what do you mean?
is incredible.
Like what? Just like what is it? Like burgers, fries?
I think it's not American. Like upscale. You know,
like steaks?
Fancy steaks. Yeah, seafood dishes, stuff like that. Yeah,
steak and seafood. Like a nice steak place. Steak and seafood. Last story. Okay, so sticking with chains, I would go Cava. I would go. What's a good Mexican chain?
Ooh, Chuy's. I'm going Chuy's. Love Chuy's. Huh?
I mean, shit. I'll have a Panda Express in there. You know, I don't even.
Do you like Chuy's?
I don't know what Chuy's is. What's Chuy's?
You've never had Chuy's?
No.
Chuy's is like the best Tex-Mex you'll ever have.
I don't think we have a Chuy's here, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
They got good fajitas. I just need somewhere to get
the fajita bread. Oh.
Like the tortilla.
The tortillas are nice.
Or flour tortilla.
Chuy's is like if Chili's went Mexican instead of American. There you go.
Oh hell yeah, I like that. I mean, I can feel that. Okay, wait. So what did I say? Cava. I said Panda Express. I mean, for steakhouse again, I'll just go Chaco or Ruth Chris. It's a solid. No matter where they pop up, you're always getting.
I like PF. I need a Chinese restaurant in there, so I'm gonna go PF Chang's too.
See, that's what I'm saying. I view Chinese food where I almost like it the cheaper it is. I don't need.
I don't feel like PF Chang's is like a cheap. I feel like PF Chang's is like a kind of in between because it's not like a nice sushi restaurant, but it's also not like China Garden right down the street. So I think it's a good middle where you can get quality food, but it's still not like, you get the takeout. PF Chang's.
I still don't know what would be like. I'm trying to think. I don't know what like a Mexican chain would be.
God, your service sucks balls.
I don't know what's going on today, dude. Even when I was prepping, my I think it's a Chrome issue because my Google Chrome windows just keep shutting down.
Ooh, I do like Texas Roadhouse.
I gotta have we gotta have a breakfast diner in there. So gotta have a Waffle House. Grew up in Atlanta. Why not? Of course. Duh.
No.
The older I get, the older you but you can't name a bespoke diner. You can't name a chain diner, or you can't name like your local diner that you love. You have to
No. I'm not gonna name a local one. Why am I drawing a blank right now? What is the damn good breakfast spot that is somewhat healthy? Why am I drawing a break? I go to it every place I go to. First Watch. I want a First Watch.
You probably want like a fucking ruby slipper or something. Fucking nerd. Okay, so I have Cava, Panda Express, Waffle House.
I got my 5. I'm done.
Ruth Chris. Who has good pizza? Because I feel like I'm gonna need pizza. So right now, I have my Mediterranean, I have my Chinese, I have my diner, I have a steakhouse. Fuck. between Mexican and what did I just say?
Pizza.
Yeah,
I'm gonna roll.
you take it for granted. Pizza's always going to be there. We'll say pizza's always going to be there. These aren't the only 5 restaurants. Pizza's always going to be there. These are the must-haves.
You lost?
No, I just don't. I can't. I don't know. I mean, literally in the instructions it says, "Please don't say Mexican restaurant." But I almost just want to say, you did one local, right, with Last Resort?
Yep.
Oh shit! John says no. You'll never have pizza again if you don't pick one. Fuck.
I'm gonna go mellow mushroom for my pizza.
I'd be healthier if I gave up pizza. You know what's weird? Was Mellow Mushroom a party place in Athens back in the day?
Somewhat.
Wednesday night was the place to go to in Baton Rouge was Mellow Mushroom. It was karaoke night, and we would all go get fucked up.
So I got Chewy's, Last Resort, PF Chang's, Mellow Mushroom, and I'll do Longhorns as my steak joint. Bam. Bam. There you go.
Do I just go like a Torchy's or like a Chipotle?
Oh, no.
I mean, I went Panda Express.
So this is TBob's Kava, Panda Express, Waffle House, Ruth Chris. This is mine. Chewy's, Last Resort, PF Chang, Mellow Mushroom, Longhorns.
I would go Chipotle. I would go.
But he's still got a 6-pack at 260. So don't fucking get after him.
I would go Chipotle if I knew what it was. Look, Scott says I got so much action at Mellow and Baton Rouge. There you go, dude.
Oh boy.
There's no good pizza outside New York. I would say that when Portnoy came for Super Bowl week, the pizza in New Orleans actually scored shockingly high. Disappointingly, I haven't been to any of the pizza places that he liked. I've only been to the shitty ones. I think Baton Rouge is one of the worst pizza cities in the country, unfortunately. There just is not any elite pizza. It bums me out.
All right, everyone. We'll see you Thursday. Have a great week.
All right, guys. We'll be back on Thursday. And wait. Do you have to go like this minute? Why? For what? Don't gaslight me here. For what? Tell me what.
I gotta get my run in. I gotta get the kids.
Okay, fine. On Thursday, I'm making you at the end of the show listen to part of this Libra interview.
Okay.
So you get educated about what you're stepping into when you get in bed with meme coins.
Sounds good. That's why you just
awful.
You put like a little bit of meme coins, and then it's something that you just don't even look at, and then one day you just hope it blows up.
Good. I mean honestly, that's a smart approach. That's not like, you're not doing anything you shouldn't do. All right, guys, we love you. We'll see you Thursday for some more snaps.
Peace. Have a good week, everyone.